Hey Anna,
Okay.
can you hear me?
Hello. Yeah, I
How are
can hear
you?
you. Good. How are you?
Doing good. Welcome to the Midnight Society. I'm just kidding. Okay, um, so you had something creepy and eerie, and I dragged you on my YouTube. So
Mhm.
spill the tea.
I'm Anna, Lewis's friend. I'm a mom of 3. I'm a wife too. And I currently just work from home. I'm a hairdresser. And I love scary stories. I love scary stories that have like some reality to them, like based off of a true story, I guess.
Hi.
Hi, you look so beautiful. I look like
Oh
crap.
no, you look amazing. How are you?
You liar.
What? No, I'm not. I'm sorry, love. I'm just so tired. I've just
It's
had
okay.
such a long
Come
day.
here.
Hello there. I'm Amma. I'm a friend of Lucifer here. He's my adopted child, the one I didn't actually have. Anyway, I'm going to share with you a story about my personal interjection, contact with some demons.
Hey,
Hi, you can introduce yourself.
hey, it's Medicakes. Oh fuck. Okay. It's hi cakes. Hi. How's you doing?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
I'm a little tipsy.
What's up, MD?
What's good, Brody?
How are you, dude?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Doing good, man. Another blessed day, dude. It's good to be around your vibrations. Thank you for giving me your time once again.
No problem, man. You know it's all love.
I appreciate you, man. So on this video, I'm just kind of talking to people collecting weird, eerie experiences, otherworldly experiences. I know that you are extremely open-minded to so many different aspects of life. And so I just kind of want to know if you have anything creepy for me. It doesn't have to be too long or in depth. It could just be like, an experience, a couple experiences. Dude, I'm loving your chains, man.
Appreciate it.
Ill. I love that. Okay, yeah. So just drop it down, man. Let me know what's up.
So this happened in Mexico. It was in Chihuahua, Mexico. And there was a lady, and her name, they called her, no, her real name was Pascuala. And so she had a daughter. So the daughter worked in the shop. Daughter got engaged. Daughter dies the day of her wedding. Did I already mention that her mom works at a bridal shop and owns this place?
I don't think so.
Okay, I'm sorry. So she worked at a bridal shop. There's so many parts to this story. Okay, and she had a daughter, and this daughter of hers that I just told you about got engaged. And the day of her wedding, she died. Like, just randomly died. And, well, actually, they say it was, like, due to a spider bite. Like a widow or something like that. But no one really knows. And I don't remember if she died before or after the wedding. I don't even know if she ended up getting married or not.
Hi, my name's Desiree, and I've been friends with Lewis since I was in 8th grade. And my story was actually last night. I was on Oak Knoll Road in Poway, and I was
live on
sitting in
Oak
the
Knoll
car.
Road. Wait, I live on that road. Stop. Okay, continue.
I'm rolling a blunt with my cousin in her car, and I swear to God, I didn't even smoke yet, and I looked up because I felt like something like was coming towards us, and I saw feet walking across the street, and I tried to like focus on it to make sure I wasn't tripping, and then I saw the whole body go, like I saw his whole body once it got to the curb, and it just walked straight into a wall. And my cousin was like, no, it was a person. They probably just went into that building right there. And I was like, dude, it's like midnight right now. Are you serious? So we finished rolling our blunt, then we smoked it, and then we drove over there to see. And there was no way it could have been a person because it was a gate that was locked. You can't just walk through it. And it was the Rock Company that's over there by the liquor store, the PW Mart. And I was just tripping out that. It didn't seem like it was a bad ghost though, because I didn't get any bad vibes. I was just like, the hell?
Have you had like any other paranormal experiences?
I've had a trippy one in my own room. It happened 2 times. And like, I don't sleep with the lights off in my room anymore because I'm scared. But I had these feathers that I took out of my uncle's garage before he got locked up. And I don't know why, I decided to pin them up to my wall when I was decorating my room. And while they were up, every time I would go to bed and turn off the light, like right when I was about to fall asleep, it sounded like I could hear footsteps outside my window. And I'd open my eyes and I'd listen for a while. And then my room's pitch black, but you could feel something like a heat, like a warm, like body of something hovering and like getting close to me. And you know the sound of like your clothes rubbing together? I could hear that, but there's nothing there. And it happened to me 2 nights in a row. And I called my cousin and I was like, dude, and I couldn't move too. I would stay stuck. I couldn't like go turn on the light or like check my phone or anything. So I called my cousin the next morning both times and I was like, dude, what the fuck is it? And she reminded me of the feathers that I put up. So I took them off and it doesn't happen anymore, but I'm still scared to sleep with the lights off.
Wait, what was the correlation to the feathers to the occurrences?
Well, every time he goes to prison, he does Indian ritual or like Indian practitioners, I guess.
Oh.
And I think I might have messed with something that he was, because I just took it and put it up on my wall.
Yeah. Okay, that's terrifying to say the least. What creepy things have happened to you? You've never experienced like paranormal activity?
Yeah.
Like what?
I just wasn't prepared for that shit.
It's so evil. It's in the devil's corner, satanically. So I kind of got to start out with the heroin thing, you know. The heroin thing, our country got flooded with it. They flooded the market with OxyContin, and the families that did the OxyContin, they actually got prosecuted and are being indicted for flooding the country with OxyContin and opening up opiate addiction to our people. Anyway, a lot of people got hooked on heroin, and most of them started by either being prescribed or messing around with OxyContin. And so this person that I love very dearly got into heroin. She was with someone who was familiar with it, and he relapsed. So eventually she got on board with it. And of course, you know, they're not together anymore. And this has just destroyed so many people's lives. But the really weird part was on a number of occasions, 3 different occasions, met up with the demon. And it was to the point where I knew he was there because I could smell him. And it was the most putrid smell. And it would be just like a whiff. I walked past her once and I'm like, did you shower? And I couldn't believe the smell. And then it was gone. And then a little while later, moments, I smelled it again. And I'm like, where is that? And I'm looking around. And then I went up to her and sniffed her, and it wasn't her. So it was a very distinct smell. And I thought I was freaking out because everybody says I can I have a really sensitive smell. And so that I didn't really think too much about it. And then I was trying to help her get clean. And these 3 times are every single time she was going through withdrawals within like 2 to 4 days worth of withdrawals. And I was fighting with this demon because I just knew that he was in there, but I hadn't actually heard or seen anything to tell me that, other than just my instinct. And
and like before this interaction, have you what was your belief system in like demonic presence and like all of that nature?
Well, I knew of it. I didn't deny it. I knew that.
Yeah.
I believed that it was true.
Okay.
And I know that you've probably heard this before, but when people do hard drugs or they drink a lot, that why they call it spirits. When they do hard drugs, it blows open their crown chakra, and their crown chakra is wide open, and that's when entities can enter. So when people are whacked out on drugs, spirits walk in all the time. And, you know, it's not that they're bad, they're just dark and evil, but that's what they're for. That's their purpose, just like there's good ones and there's bad ones, because we have to have the dichotomy, you know. So I was certain that all of that stuff was true. But I never thought that it would be somebody that I know or I loved. And what happened the first time, she was in there for a few days, 3 or 4 days. So she was withdrawing, and I smelt it. And it was just briefly.
And when you mention smell, what are you smelling at this time? What exactly do you mean by smell?
It's undescribable. It's rotten. It's gosh. If you smelled it for very long, it would turn your stomach.
Got it. Okay.
Luckily, I wasn't subjected to it for a long period of time. But the first time was, yes, I brought her to my house, and that time I got her out of jail, and then that's when I walked past her and smelt it a couple of times, and I thought that was weird, right? So that was the very first time, and then I was hoping that she was going to kick it, so I was trying to help her, coax her, you know, and nurse her to the point where, you know, through the withdrawals, and legs go flying all the time, and you know that's the biggest thing is their legs freak out because the nerves are being shocked because they don't have the drug to calm them down, because heroin addicts spend more time trying to stay normal than they do getting high. Because they have to use all the time. So when she was fall asleep, her legs would just like be popping all over the place, and she'd scream that they hurt, and so she was moaning in her like half sleep a lot. And then a couple of times I heard some weird stuff that like come out of her, and then I started like talking to her, and then I realized it wasn't her answering me. It was by really weird things that she said, and there was 3 different entities in her, and one was a girl, but it wasn't her. And I knew by like really weird things that she said, and she was mean to me. And I wish I could remember exactly, but it was challenging things, pretty much just telling me to screw off. And then another time, this was going on for like 24 hours, and a couple of different times I had conversations, and then I would ask her about it, and she said, what are you talking about? I don't know. What do you mean? It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I said, don't you remember you said? She goes, no. So there was a couple interactions, like Memories. She was telling me about something that she did or something that she said, and I said, well, you said that. Oh, that's what it was. There was like 3 or 4 different episodes where I said something to her about a conversation we had, and she said that I didn't say that. What are you talking about? And so I thought maybe it was just the withdrawals, right? So this happened about 3 or 4 times. I was trying to nurse her, and I was like, you can't have her. I said, you can't have her. Give her back to me. I love her, and you can't be in her. And then something answered me back, and it was like a growling noise. It was growling at me like an animal. And like, what did you say? And then nothing. And so kind of like I'm still questioning, is this really happening? There was a couple different times where I tried to help her. And the first time I smelled a couple smells, and I noticed that it got growled at. This thing was growling at me like an animal. And I turned around, what? And then I would be in the other room, and then I heard something. And I turned around and I said, what did you say? And then he said, you heard me. And I'm like, whoa. And then I walked over, and I like what are you doing? And I started cursing at him. Get the frick out of her. You're not going to have her. I want her back. You give her back to me. He growled at me again. So that was still like, I'm still iffing it in my head. So then fast forward, I had been suspicious. I heard growling at me. So I'm thinking, oh, there's an entity in her. And then I had a conversation with her, and then I was talking to her and she didn't remember the conversations. And it was a girl, but it was things that I didn't expect her to say, and nothing too far off, but I hadn't been around her for a long time. So I didn't know what her life was like, what her friends were like, or, where she was at. Emotionally and intellectually even. So
sad, super sad.
Yeah, so it was New Year's Eve.
Did the voice sound like different at all? Like, did it sound like she was being possessed by something else, or did it just sound like she was not in the right state of mind?
The growling was like an animal. It was not anything that could come out of a human. It was just horrific. It just made my skin crawl. And that's what really got me going. So then I called someone I know. Her name is Lady Brenda, and she works with dark entities and she does exorcisms. So I asked her to do it, and she came on New Year's Day. And I said, she wants to go back out. She wants to go back out, and I don't want to let her go back out with this demon in her. So she agreed to come, and she came, and I put her on a table, and she worked on her, and she worked on her for 2.5 hours. She was totally out. She was knocked out. She worked on her for about half an hour, and then she was totally knocked out. Okay, so like I said, when someone's going through withdrawals, and she was in the midst of withdrawals, and their legs are flopping all over the place. She was stone still the whole time. In fact, I videotaped the whole thing to watch. Okay, so we did the exorcism. It was about the first half hour. Lady Brenda worked on her, and then the 2.5 hours she was just stone cold out, just still as a bone. Her legs did not move. A couple times her foot went like that. And I kept the iPad focused on her the whole time because I didn't want to sit there and watch her. But when Lady Brenda was working on her, I could feel it. And she said, Lady Brenda goes, oh, I could smell it. I could smell it. And I'm like, oh, I smelled some weird stuff. And so she pulled some energy out of her, and I could see and she put it in a urn. And she said she was going to go take it to this place that she has to put it to, kind of like a proof of smoke. It was weird that she drew it out of her. She just used this pendulum, and she used her hands, and she was pulling. And when she did it, she had this jar open, and it had probably some stone, obsidian, and some ashes. And she put it in there and covered it really quick. And when it was going in there, it's like I could see that it was in there. It was like gray smoke, and then I couldn't see it anymore. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So insane that she was speaking in a deeper language, and she was speaking chants in which she never even practiced before, correct? She
oh no. Mm-mm. And it was like cadence, there was a cadence, and it was intentional, and he was chanting something at me. It was a prayer or a spell or something. And that's why I turned around and just started throwing Christ at him, and throwing Jesus, and asking for the ascended masters, and asking for all the help. And I realize now that that's the point when I decided to call Brenda and ask her for the help.
But it's cool.
Well, congrats on your
That
new
makes
song.
ghost stories more fun. Oh, thank you.
Congrats on your new song. It's doing fabulous. Synthetic Love dropped Valentine's Day. You and I are going to be working on a track soon, just for fun, though.
Yes. No,
Okay.
but it's gonna bang.
it's gonna
bang.
It's gonna bang. All right, so Matthew, Mr. Monty Cakes, love.
Hi.
Hi. What creepy?
Wait, I heard we came here for your story.
Yeah. Okay, so the last time you were on my podcast, you had like a weird experience in, I believe it was Colorado, right?
Yes.
And
well,
so
I told of it. It didn't. It happened a long time ago. Yeah.
and now you have another one. I haven't heard this one, so let's hear it.
It's new for everybody. Okay, so this one also involves a Ouija board.
Ooh.
And the one in Colorado is that's when I learned my lesson on like never touch a Ouija board. I guess this one didn't stick with me really. But I was really young too. I was like maybe 8 years old. And I didn't even know what a Ouija board was. But
So over this camera. Okay, sorry.
I didn't even know what a Ouija board was at that moment. So I kind of was just, okay, anyway, I was at my friend's house. And I think it was in El Cajon. But anyway, the house had like an addition on it. They like had built a back room.
Oh.
And like a little extra like bathroom, hallway, little back room, closet, whatever. It could clearly tell it wasn't part of the house, like they had added on to it. And it didn't have like all the same type of framing windows and everything. It was kind of like a garage would be. So like it was not as warm as the rest of the house. It wasn't fully insulated the same, all that. It was just weird. It was weird. But anyway, that was like the back game room or whatever. And I don't remember much, but I remember that we were in there and I wanted to play a game. And there was a closet. And the closet had like a curtain that you slide, kind of like a shower curtain, but it was a cloth.
Okay.
And it was like on a rail on the top of the door, and it just like slid open instead of like a closet door. And I don't know, I just went in there and I was like looking at the different games they had and and I found a Ouija board. It was a glow in the dark one, a plastic Ouija board. And I didn't even know what it was. I just like pulled it out and I walked out. And I didn't sit very far away from the door because it was kind of like I said, we were young. It was like a playroom. So there's like toys everywhere and like video game console, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I took this game out and I kind of walked maybe a few feet from the closet and I just sat down. And I started opening the box and it scared the shit out of me actually. I was like my friend's house and I was supposed to sleep there, but I didn't want to sleep in that room after that because I sat down and the fucking curtain of the closet blew out completely and went over but like not fast. It flowed out and then draped over my face and it covered me and it was dark. It felt way darker than it was actually in the room. And I don't know, I just felt really cold and it just felt, I don't know, it felt like something was like in that closet. It was really scary and it spooked me out so much that I threw the curtain off my head and I ran out of the room and nobody was like concerned. They were like, what's going on? Because like they weren't watching me, so like it looks like I just ran out of the closet to them.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's weird. I slept on the couch in the living room that night.
That's crazy. Have you ever experienced any? Where are you right now?
Where am I? I'm here.
You're at your house?
Yeah.
Have you ever?
Wow.
I know. This is so scary.
What?
Okay.
Do you know the ghost that lived here?
No. So David and I were sleeping on the couch together. I know. It's so cringe.
Okay, I need to hear.
Okay.
I don't know this. Tell me.
So I have two experiences.
There was a ghost here.
There's something there.
They're gone. They're not. No, they're gone now. But and I know
Okay.
exactly. Okay, I'll tell you after.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Okay. So David and I were sleeping on the couch together, right? And then, so this was the day before we got. This is the day before we got our cat Hex, and then Sage was in the cage across
Sage is in the cage.
Yeah, Sage is in my baby Sage is in the cage. Okay, and then so we were sleeping together, right? And then something like an animal figure, something weird, like hovered over us, like
An animal figure.
okay, it was almost like if it was a cat, like if a cat had jumped over us, or like if a small child was trying to like get over us, but like jumped really fast. And then so that happened, like it jumped over us and we're like, what the hell? And we looked and we looked over at the cage and we saw that Sage was in her cage, and we looked at each other and we're like, wait, what the just happened?
So he experienced it too.
Yeah, we both experienced it, and it wasn't any of the other cats because Garfield had been in the room, and he remember how he
You
was
mean
like
Gerald?
Gerald. Oh, I'm sorry. He
And
was really
Kitty.
Yeah, and it wasn't Kitty because she was too old, and
She sleeps with me usually.
and he was really fat. And the way that Kitty doesn't jump on like the couches or like on anything like
Never.
that. You know what I mean? And Gerald is too fat. Gerald is too fat to do that. The only one that could do that was Sage, but she was locked up in the cage. You know what I mean? So that occurred, and Dave and I were like, "What the hell?"
That's
And-
interesting.
And you know what? The one thing I loved about David is like when I was freaked out at night or like I don't know, got scared, like he would comfort me. He wouldn't like make fun of me and things like that. Like he'd be like, "It's okay, babe," and then just like talk with me. I miss that part of like a relationship, but
Yeah.
but so then another
Synthetic. No, I'm kidding. Sorry.
synthetic life. Okay, so then another incident happened where I was like just laying on your couch at night,
Mhm.
and then the closet door out of
Fuck.
nowhere just
I'm sorry.
just
You
opened.
probably did. It just opens. Yeah. Oh God. Okay. Yeah,
at
that-
night, and I was like,
So that's
But
the
that
one
bitch-
that's
Okay,
the
yeah.
ghost I'm gonna tell you about. That's
Okay.
that.
okay, yeah, and that shit was closed, Maddie.
No, she opens doors. So okay, there's I already know it's an old lady,
Okay.
and I found that out maybe on the second encounter with her. But I actually met her the first day we moved in, and she was not a bad spirit. I personally think she was trying to tell us something. I don't know what it was, but she's not here anymore. We kind of like, after I found out what she was and like everything, I remember saying, I would make a joke like, "You don't need to be here. You can leave. Like, it's fine. We're fine." I felt like she was trying to like,
Synthetic love.
I'm done. I felt like she was trying to like protect us or something. And I remember saying a few times like, "You don't need to be here. It's fine." And then like, I don't know. I haven't experienced her. I've been the longest running at this apartment. You know what I mean?
Really? Yeah, for
Since,
sure.
since day one.
And
but-
you stay there by yourself.
I've stayed here by myself. I've stayed here by myself for like a good 2 months.
And you haven't
and,
felt anything?
No, that's what I'm saying. She's gone. She left.
How?
She
How do you
left.
know?
I'll tell. Okay, so let me just explain. First day we moved in, I'm walking up the stairs, and that hallway, you know, the hallway up to the front door. There's times during daylight savings times, like closer to when the clocks change, that the automatic light does not match with the way the sun goes up and down. So there's times when that hallway doesn't have the light on and it's dark, and the way it's set up is completely pitch black dark in there. Like you can't see anything
Yeah.
if that light's not on. So I've never been afraid of the dark though, so it's not a big deal to me. You can see enough of the like silhouette of the stairs and stuff to be able to make it up. And I was just anyway, I'm in the complete darkness. I'm unlocking the door, and like, you know when someone like literally is standing like right behind you, like they're they're on you, like you could like not on you, but like they're like if somebody was standing right behind you, probably like this close, you would know they're there.
Yeah, probably.
You can feel them. Yeah, so I'm unlocking the door and I just feel like this person right here. And it freaked me out so much because I thought somebody had followed me up the stairs. And I was like, what the fuck? And so I'm unlocking it and I go, and I like peek over my shoulder, and there's nobody. And I'm just like, okay, that's so weird. And then I go back facing the door and it immediately is back. And I was like, so I turned around faster that time and I was like, what is going on? And then so right by the door, there's that little enclave like area that kind of goes out to like the storage on the walls. And it like turns a little bit. And so there is a small part up there right before you get in our front door that if somebody stood in that little enclave, you couldn't see them from the front door. But it's like so small, you know, it's just enough for them to fit.
Yes. That's super creepy.
Well, I legitimately, this presence was so there that I legitimately, when I turned around again and nobody was there, I was like, there's somebody hiding right there. Like, it has to be. There's somebody up here with me and I'm about to get like mugged. And so I pull my phone out and I'm like holding it up and I'm about to hit the flashlight button and I'm standing there in the dark and I'm like fully expecting when the light comes on that there's going to be a person staring me in my face. And I'm just like embracing it. And so I hit it and there's nothing. And I was just like, this is so weird. And so that was the first experience. It was just weird. And then the second experience was when she locked me out of my room. No. That was the third. The second experience was me and Chloe watching a movie together. And I went to go down and have a cigarette. And when I came back up, the front door was locked. And I knocked on it. And when Chloe opened the door, she says, why would you lock yourself out? But I didn't. And so I literally said, I thought you locked it. And we didn't think anything of it at that time. But then when she locked me out of my room, that's when I started to think, okay, the front door got locked too, like randomly like this. It was weird. I was getting ready for work and I walked out of my room into the kitchen. I come back and the door is locked. I was not fully ready. I didn't have everything I needed out of my room. There's no reason I would lock the door. And I can't get in my fucking door. Like, I had to take the door off. I had to take the thing off, the knob.
That's cringe.
And kick the door in a little bit. I think that this woman that lived in the house, I think she got horrifically murdered.
Here in your house?
Yes, possibly by the Night Stalker.
Oh.
I don't know. I'm so serious because why would she be locking our doors? I think she was trying to teach me, because I had a thing where I would go down for a cigarette and I wouldn't lock the door. And Chloe, after a while, was like, I just want the door always locked, even if you go down for a cigarette. And then like the ghost locks us out of every fucking door in our house. And I feel like this old lady was like, I got killed because I didn't lock the doors. You bitches need to lock the door. I'm so serious. You're laughing really hard. But like, doesn't that make sense?
I mean, I don't know.
Why would an entity was locking our doors?
At some point, I have to have some realism. Yeah.
No.
At some point, I have to bring it down and think realistic at some fucking point.
Let me say something. I was making a joke about the Night Stalker. I don't know that. But I do think this woman was assaulted or murdered in this apartment, and it's because she didn't have her door locked. And I think that she's just like heavy set on. It's like when I was walking in the front door, she was like standing over my fucking shoulder, making sure I had a key or something because she didn't know who I was. Anyway, my point is that she was really fixated on locking doors.
That's insane.
It was weird. And then here's the thing that really proved it for me. Because I always had this idea that she was an old lady. I was just like, it's like a sweet old lady. I just felt it. I don't know. I come home one day, and it's when I lived with Dante. My friend Dante, he had eaten edibles. And so it was Friday night and he was like really, really high. Or no, he wasn't high anymore, but he was like brushing his teeth and we're talking and I'm standing in the hallway and he's brushing his teeth in the bathroom and he goes, oh my God, right where you're standing. He's like, it scared the shit out of me earlier. He's like, I had eaten so much edibles. And he's like, and I'm sitting here brushing my teeth and there's a fucking old grandma in the hallway. I thought I saw a ghost. And he's telling me like it's funny because he is on edibles. And I'm sitting there like, because I knew. And I told him, I said, oh my God, Dante. And I like walked away and he started freaking. He's like, what? And everything. And I was like, that was a real ghost.
Oh my God.
And he was so freaked out after that. But like, but I was like, no, she's nice. Like, he was like, don't tell me this house is haunted. I'm like, no, she's nice. But like, you just proved to me that she's here. Definitely. And now she left. So,
But Matthew, I would sleep in your dark ass living room alone.
She probably was like standing there with me, like making.
Matthew, stop! No, because I honestly, like, I feel it right now.
She was just making sure the door was locked, Lou.
No.
I'm serious.
No, but Matthew, I feel it now. I remember just like in those moments, just like, Lou, just stop being a bitch. Like, honestly, like, it's just dark. But feeling like very
there was somebody
uneasy.
There's somebody there.
And then when I went to the restroom and like in the certain little like, the corners, like I just felt very uneasy. And I was like, you know what? I just need to stop being a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, there's no fucking spirits. And
it's not that I was uneasy.
No, I felt very uneasy.
There was a spirit the whole time.
Wow.
Remember when you were here and those people came in my front door?
Yes, Matthew.
So I think that this woman, this is my theory. This woman.
Okay, wait. Can we just talk about that experience really quick while we're on camera? Just.
We were out at the club.
No, we were not we were at the club. We came to your house.
It was like 2 a.m.
2 a.m. just hanging out, chilling.
Talking about potatoes. Talk about, you could dice them, you could slice them, put them in chips and fries. And potatoes are the best. That's what we were. We were literally in the middle of a conversation about how good potatoes were when 2 giant Somalian men came barreling through my front door.
Yeah.
We were like, hash browns.
We're like, hash brown. Yeah, it was so terrifying. And Matthew was like, get out of my house. Get out of my house. Get out of my house. Right now. He's like, walk away. And I started spazzing out.
I pushed him out the front door.
I called the cops immediately, and I was like on the phone with the operator, and you were like, Luke, get off the phone with the cops. I'm like, Matthew, no.
Don't bring the cops.
I was like, bitch, no. Like, no. And then the cop, and then I remember I was like, bitch, get here now. They have a knife and a gun.
Oh my God, I forgot you said that. They totally, we don't know.
I felt so vulnerable in that moment.
Yeah, I think we all did.
Yeah.
But the worst part of it was when the police came and they told the police, we just thought it was our brother's house.
Oh my gosh.
That made me so mad because the bitch ass cop came up and told me, yeah, well, it's just a mistake. You should really lock your door. I looked at her with the like most wide eyes and I said, no shit.
I mean, well, I could tell you about this one experience that I've had when I was first getting into, I want to say consciousness and first learning more about the previous civilizations and their gods. And I felt like I was starting to be activated because the craziest experience that I had, which started everything as far as like my whole journey on self-discovery, was I was sitting back one day cooling in the back of a car in my yard one day. And I was just smoking, you know what I'm saying, just chilling, listening to music, trying to get my playlists right, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden I was wearing this watch that usually doesn't, well, I had to change the battery, and I haven't changed the battery for a while. It was an old watch, but it was one of my favorite watches. So I was wearing it, and out of nowhere, I looked at it because it started ticking. And I was like, how can my watch start ticking out of nowhere? Like, it's been months since I changed the battery. So I felt like that might have been a sign. So I looked at the time that it started ticking from, and I looked at the time that it ended. Like, it also stopped as well. So I looked at the time that it ended at, and the time that it ended at, something just gave me the feeling of, look up those numbers, like look up the time and if it has a meaning behind it. So I looked it up, and of course Google brought me up to angel numbers and stuff like that, and the numbers that it resulted down to, as far as like numerology, when you add up all the numbers, that number, it had a very significant meaning in my life. Like, the time that it said that it, you know what I'm saying, represented, like it had a deep meaning. So I was like, wow, how could time just like have some type of a synchronicity or a line up in my life? It's like that's so, like, it's kind of strange. So I've also read within the same message that your spirit guides or angels or guardian angels, they will also use time in order to get your attention and to send messages. So it's just up to you if you actually catch the message, because a lot of times you have to look at numerology and you also have to study the numbers that you also seeing, because these numbers have meanings too. And it makes me think like how Tesla, you know, he's into 369. So it's like, you know, numbers have some type of meaning, you know what I mean, bigger than we usually think. So it's like a code, I guess. So I was like, okay, the whole watch thing with the time and all of that was awesome. And I started sitting out there a little bit more, because I felt like for me to get that information or type of influence, I must have been in a good state to where I was able to receive that, you know what I'm saying? So I tried to make sure I was in that state a lot more often. And I remember one time that I was in that state for a while, and it was getting dark. It was nighttime. It was like, I think it was going on like 2:30 something, maybe almost 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was sitting in my yard, and I was living in the country at the time. Out of nowhere, like I was looking out to roads and stuff, and out of nowhere I seen this guy, and no cars was around. I was able to see the whole road from top to bottom, and I was looking for, I'm gonna go in this room. I was looking for anyone to, like, for me to be able to see if anybody was coming or anything like that too. And, you know, so just watch the traffic of the road, because when I seen someone, or I guess I seen an entity, I seen someone, and I was wondering, like, how could I see that person if I'd never seen anybody come up, or I would have seen someone walking, and like he popped up and appeared almost directly in front of me, and like in front of the vehicle that I was sitting in. So when I was looking at it, what's going on, Pop? When I was looking at it, I was wondering, like, how could he just pop up out of nowhere? So I started studying his clothes. He had on boots, pants, and a hoodie. The hoodie was like super massive on his head. Like it was tucked on his head, but it was like his head, I guess his head was massive, but his hoodie was tight on his head, and you could tell he didn't have any hair. And I was like, that's kind of strange. He was tall too. The guy was like 6 something, but he had boots on. So I mean, I guess it wasn't too much, but he was still tall. You could tell he was like mad tall, and he was muscular, a little bit muscular. So I'm like, dang, this is kind of weird. And also the guy had like fair skin. So I'm like, yo, this is kind of weird. When I started thinking that it's kind of weird, the guy looked at me. When he looked at me, a chill went through my whole body. Like I never really well, I ain't gonna say never, but I don't get scared much at all, right, to almost to the point like where it's easier than nothing like that. I don't really do that. Like all my life before I've found myself and started going into vibrations, I would always carry weapons and stuff like that, keep them around me. So, you know, I was prepared for if anything was to go, you know, left. But I seen this guy, and when he seen me, because he ended up looking at me, when he seen me, when I seen him, he had blue eyes, like piercing electric blue eyes, like a type of blue I never seen before. Like his eyes was huge, but it was light that came from his eyes. I was like, whoa, like it made me kind of freak out. Like I am not even going to cap with you. Like it made me freak out a little bit, for real. So I was like, yo, what did I just see? So I was just thinking, like, are they about to abduct me or something? I was just thinking, I know I seen something that was not normal. It had to be extraterrestrial. You know what I'm saying? It just came to me in a form of, I guess, letting me know that they know that I'm, you know what I'm saying, that they know I'm around, or they know where I'm at. They know I'm starting to get hip to what's going on with the universe.
And your beliefs go, I mean, very in depth. They're not for the casual thinker, if you will. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel you. Yeah.
Anyone that is basic level thinking or just doesn't have the capacity to have an open mind for someone else's belief will literally think that you are a nutball. They will literally think that you are crazy. To me, you are enlightened. I love that you have your beliefs. I love that you know what I mean? You talk from the heart and you talk from the soul. You know what I mean? And you research on things that you feel you need to, and you're not afraid to just speak about shit that sounds mind-boggling crazy. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that, you know? To the average mind, that's not something that they can just digest. You know what I mean? They can't intake all of that and be like, oh my gosh, like there's a possibility that there are spirits and realms and all this crazy, like, you know what I mean? So I appreciate that aspect, like, of, you know, of your journey in this life. You know what I mean? And so from I just want to kind of touch on extraterrestrial stuff, because I've never had an extraterrestrial experience ever. I've never had like alien, UFO, like I've never seen anything like that in my life. How did you rationalize that last experience? Like, what was the ultimate like conclusion in your mind? You know, like, what do you really truly think like happened in that situation?
Just looking back at it from like no outside sources, I really thought it was just like just other extraterrestrials letting me know that they know that I'm being activated, or know that I'm being aware. I don't really call it activated just yet. I think that was in 2018, so it might have been activated.
Yeah, in 2017, I had a huge awakening as well. It was like my mind and my heart started feeling aligned with my emotions. In 2017, I started feeling again. You know what I mean? So that's really weird. And then now it's like all of my emotions and my heart and my soul and all of those things that are in line are now falling in line with like my creativity and my self-worth and my confidence. And it's crazy how like whenever I think about like certain like monumental times in our history since I've been alive, like 2012, 2017 and 2020, like huge things happened to me in those years, you know what I mean, that changed and sculpted my life, you know what I mean. And it's crazy that even now, like 2020, like the trajectory that I'm going, like is not what I thought my life would have been. You know what I mean? And now it's like I have to put myself out there, and I want to put myself out there. But I never thought that I would ever want to do something like that. You know what I mean? But things change. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, so many things change. I mean, the whole world kind of started changing. And it's like, I just kind of feel like, I feel that it did happen to me for a good reason. You know, because where I was heading at in 2017 before the activation, it wasn't too great, but at the same time I did see myself working towards it. And then now when I think about it, I've always been a certain way, or like a light child when I was younger, like when I was actually a kid, before I got involved with a lot of the, I guess, programming that, you know what I mean, we was going into.
But there are just certain individuals who don't really get the same opportunities and the same fair chances that others get. For some people, you know, just getting a meal is something that is very, you know what I mean, like something that is scarce in their life, or even just like, you know, normal day by day things. So when people like are like, oh my God, I'm so depressed, and like you have so much, you can feel depressed, you can feel however you want. But just imagine those people that don't have absolutely anything and they still feel depressed. I mean, what can you do to higher your vibrations to change the ripple effects in this world. You know what I mean? People
Right.
are so entitled nowadays. It's fucking hard to watch. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, you will never hear me complain. I have nothing to complain about. I really don't. Maybe like certain people piss me off and like their actions, but everything in my life is so content. I'm so fucking happy. And like, that's why I just want to share my light and my love. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's what I'm meant to do on this earth. That's what I was always meant to do on this earth until I got fucking derailed. But that was my fault. I got derailed from my own path. But I'm back on it. So, and now I get to talk to people like you, whom just get to have open-minded conversations. You know what I mean? And it's only just getting, it's only just getting deeper and deeper into the enlightenment. You know what I mean? As I build my fucking alliance of spiritual gangsters and warriors. But dude, I really appreciate you. I really appreciate your time.
I'll talk to you later.
Fun.
I know.
You gotta come visit. You gotta come visit and see my new room and everything.
I will, but I'm scared to sleep there now. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm literally saying it's gone.
I know. And
I'm psychic. I proved to you not like a week ago that I'm psychic.
That's true. And your house reminds me of David.
Well, reasonably so.
You froze, darling. Okay, talk to you soon.
Love you.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Appreciate you having me, man. Thank you.
All love, dude.
You know I'm available anytime you reach out, so you already know.
All right, thanks, man. You take it easy.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Have a good one, man.
You too, man.